Okay, so the next element is switch. So let me drag and drop the switch. Okay, so switch, as you know, is the on off switch kind of switch. Okay, so if I zoom into this switch, so let me keep the width as 150 dp. Okay, and this is linear layout, edit text is there, image view is there. Okay, and if you can see, if I zoom here, you see that switch, this is switch, right? Now there are multiple properties for the switch. Okay, one is the text where you can write this text. So I will write my switch button. Okay, and I will have to increase the width of this so that it comes in one line. And now for switch you can have programmatically handling the interaction for the switch. You can write that into our activity program. So let's see how that activity program works. Okay, now one property is there for switch, which is checked. Okay, Android checked. If I put it to true, you can see that my switch is selected now, right? And if I put it to false, it will be unselected or not selected. So let's check how it works in the programming. So the switch ID is switch 2. For me here, switch ID is switch 2. Okay, so let's go to the main activity and let's create one switch variable here. Switch. Okay, I will write SWT, and here you will have to write find view by ID, r.id dot switch 2. Okay, so in programming, as we have set switch. Now in programming you have another approach. So switch SWT dot set check. If you put it true, whenever you will run your application, it will make it selected, it will make it true. Okay, and now there is one interface or callback, you can say, which will give you trigger whenever the switch is selected or unselected by the user, and that is on check change listener. That is switch on check change listener. So I will write switch dot set on check change listener. Okay, and here I will write compound button dot on check change listener. So this, in this on check change method, you will get if your button is selected or not. So let me put a toast here. I will just write a toast, create new toast, and I will write now button is and plus B. So I have written if button is selected or not, true or false. Okay, so let's try to run this application. So my application is running now. So let's deselect the switch. Okay, so now button is false, that means it is unselected, and if I select it, now button is true. Okay, so this is how your switch will work. Now let's move ahead to the another component. So I will just remove all of these components here, and the next is button and image button. Okay, button, I have shown you how button works. There is a slight difference between button and image button. So this is the button. On this button, text, if you write click me. Okay, now in your activity you can write that on click listener for this button also. Okay, you can write on click listener for your button also, because on button click what you want to do is based on your requirement. So I will write button 1 button, and here I will write button 1, and here also I will write button. What is the ID of this button? Button 1 I will write. I will change that ID to button 1. Okay, and here I will remove this. I will write button 1 dot set on click listener. Okay, and overriding this on click method, and here I will write toast, create toast, and I will write button clicked. Okay, now so let's run this application. Okay, so my application is running, and if I click on this button, you can see that toast message is coming, button clicked. Okay, so number of times you will click on that button, the toast message will come. So this is how you can create the callbacks. Okay, and for that you need code in your class, that is activity class, right? So for button or for few elements you can write set on click listener. For switch you can write set on check change listener, and for others you have different kind of callbacks. So here we have taken simple button. You can take image button also. You see, difference between image button and button is not much. It's just that you can apply the image to the button also. That is the difference between this button and image button. Okay, now this is button without text, but with the image. If you click it, it will be used as a callback like this button only. It's just that you need to create image button here, another variable with the image button name. Okay, next is chip group and chip. So this chip group and chip we will see in live project where these things are used, but basically if I tell you what are the chips, whenever in Gmail, if you add some email, if you write some sender email, and once you write it, you click enter, right? After clicking enter, you see that one tag of that email address is shown there into that text box. Okay, that tag is nothing but this chip. Okay, so this is how they use the chips. So next is the checkbox. So I will drag and drop that checkbox here, and checkbox is basically like this. It also have the callback. So let's check how that callback works. So I will write checkbox chk, and I will copy this line chk, and I will change that id checkbox. Okay, and for checkbox chk dot set on check change listener, new check change listener. Okay, and I will copy this toast message and I will paste it here, and I will write checkbox clicked B. Okay, so this is how the checkbox will work. Let's try to run this application. So my application is running. Let's test this application. So if I click on this checkbox, see, checkbox click true, checkbox click false. Okay, now the next element is radio group. So let me remove these elements, and now there is a trick into this radio group and radio buttons. So suppose if I add this radio button here into my layout. Okay, now I'll add one more button, which is a radio button. Okay, so this is radio button 1, this is radio button 2, and I will write radio button 1, radio button 2. Okay, so I will just copy these two buttons and I will make radio button 3 and radio button 4. Okay, now let's run this application and understand how does it works. Now when I'm trying to run this application, I got one error here, which is this, because we have deleted that button and checkbox from the UI, so our activity is unable to find the reference for that those components. So I will just delete the code, because we have deleted those components from the XML layout. Okay, and my app is running now. So let's have a look at this app. So this is my app. Now as you can see, if I click on radio buttons, all are selected now. All are selected. Now if I rerun this application, okay, now you can see no radio button is selected, but if I click on second button, it will get selected. If I click on third button, it will get selected. So this is not the correct behavior. We want only one radio button to be selected, because radio buttons are used for that only. If you want to have multiple selection, you can use checkboxes. Radio button is not for that purpose. So what I will do is, I have taken one radio group. Okay, I have radio group here, which is another widget, which is invisible widget. I will drag and drop that radio group here, and into that radio group I will try to add all these radio buttons into this radio group. Let us delete this closing and let us close that radio button here. So this radio group is now created, and into that radio group I have 4 radio buttons. Okay, let's now try to run this application. Okay, so my application is running, and if I try to click the button 1, it is selected. If I try to click button 2, see, button 1 is deselected and button 2 is selected now. If I try to click button 3, only one button is selected. So this is how you use radio buttons with the help of radio groups. Okay, radio groups will allow you to select one radio button at a time. Okay, now let's have a look at the callbacks. So for radio button also, you have same callback. So we will try to write radio group. So I will take radio group variable RGP. I will write RGP equal to find view by ID r.id dot radio group. Okay, we have not given ID to the radio group, so let's give that ID to the radio group. ID RG1 radio group 1. Okay, but I think I have missed the syntax. This is not how it is written. RG1. Okay, so here I will write RG1. Okay, so RGP dot set on check change listener. Okay, so radio group dot on check change listener and on check change. So we have parameter radio group and we have parameter integer I. So this integer I is nothing but the ID of that radio group. So I can rename this radio button ID. This int is nothing but the radio button ID. Okay, now how to check if which radio button is selected or not, or clicked or not. So I will write toast here. Okay, and I will write clicked. Now I have to write the name of that radio button, which radio button is selected. Okay, so what I will do is I will write radio button RB. Okay, and I will write find view by ID. Okay, find view by ID, and which ID? This ID. So now whichever button is selected or deselected, I will get that ID, and with that ID I can get that widget. I already know that this is radio button. Okay, so I have taken that ID. Okay, now once you have ID, you can write rb dot get text. It will give you the text. Which text? This text property it will give you. Okay, so let's just try to run this application. Let's see how it works. Okay, so our application is running, and if I click on this radio button 2, clicked radio button 2, right? If I click on radio button 4, clicked radio button 4. Okay, so this is how radio button works with the callbacks set, check, change listener, but you have to use radio group always. Okay, now the next component is toggle button. So I will just try to remove this and add this toggle button into our view. Toggle button is also the same thing which we have seen for switch button. Okay, but just a slight difference we have. So let's try to add callback for toggle button also. Toggle button, and I will write TB for toggle button, and I will write toggle button find view by ID r.id dot toggle button. Okay, so I will just copy this toast. Okay, and TB dot set on check change listener is there, and let's see what we have set on. Okay, set on check change is only used for toggle button also. I will write new compound set check change compound button. Okay, so it is saying it does not contain something like toggle button. Okay, it has not refreshed yet, that is why it is giving me some error. So I will write 1 here, toggle button 1, and I will add toggle button 1 here also. Okay, so let's try to run this app and let's see how it works. And before running the application, we forgot to add toast here, so let's just add that toast again. And button is and I will write plus B here. Okay, let's run the application again. So now our application is running. So if I click on this button, button is true. If I click on this button, button is false. So this toggle button will show you on off, and according to that you can use this in your project as you required it in different cases. Switch you have seen already in common. Switch you have seen already. Web view, video view, progress bar, and seek bar is there. So let's check them one by one. So I will add progress bar here. Progress bar is basically used for loading purpose. Okay, this progress bar is added now, and let's add one button to show this progress bar and disable this progress bar. Okay, so I have added button, and width I will write, and I will write start. So let's try to make some interactive thing with the buttons and progress bar. So margin top I will add 20 dp. Okay, and this is my progress bar. So 250 dp will be the width, 250 dp will be the height. Okay, so button 2 and progress bar, these are the two elements I have. Now let's go to the activity, and here button, progress bar, there are few properties for the progress bar, those also we will see. Let's add these buttons and progress bar first. r.id.button and pb equal to find view by id, r.id.progress bar. Okay, so button dot set on click listener. Why we are using set on click listener? Because on button click listener we will show this progress bar, and again if you click on that button we will remove that progress bar, or we will make it disappear. Okay, now let's come to the progress bar attributes. So one of the major attribute for progress bar is style. Okay, so with this style you can decide what kind of progress bar you want. Right now the style is progress bar style, which is default style for progress bar. So it will show you in this circular shape like this, and if you run this application it will show you the indeterminate progress bar. That means the progress is not shown, but this progress bar, it will run for indefinite time. It will loop, it will run into loop with unlimited time. Okay, so let's try to run this application first, but before this what I want to do is I want to use this button to start and stop, or to show and invisible the progress bar. So I will write here pb, which is progress bar object. So if pb dot get visibility, let's see if we have is visible. Okay, so get visibility equal to view dot gone. Okay, if it is gone, then pb dot set visibility I will do. view dot visible, and I will copy this line and I will write else gone. Okay, but by default here I will make it gone, visibility to gone. Okay, now let's run this application and see how it works. So our application is running, and if I click on start, see how the loop of progress bar is showing. And if I click on start again, if I tap on start again, then it will set the invisibility to gone because by default it was showing. Okay, right? So now let's try to check what are the other properties for progress bar. Now, as I have shown you that progress bar style is a default style which we have seen. Now let me change this style, and I want to use some other attributes also. So for example, indeterminate, this is the one of the important attribute in progress bar. If I set to indeterminate true, and if I change this progress bar style, see there are two styles, progress bar style and progress bar style. See these are the styles. Okay, I want to set this to horizontal, progress bar style set horizontal. Okay, now if I run it, let's see how what output it shows to us. So my app is running, and if I click on start button, see how it is showing horizontal with indeterminate true. Okay, so this indeterminate property, it is basically gives you idea if your progress bar should be in looping or it should show progress. So if it is a true, your progress bar will not show any progress. Your progress is not determinated. It is not determinate, it is indeterminate. That means it is indefinite. Okay, so if you want to make it non-indeterminate or determinate, you will set it false. And here one attribute I will use, which is max. This max is the maximum progress we can show or we can put, and one more is progress. Okay, see now this progress I will set it to, let's set it to 40. Okay, now my progress bar is indeterminate. Let's run it. Now my progress bar is indeterminate, and my total progress will be 100, and right now I'm setting it to 40. You can set this progress and all of these attributes from your program also. Okay, from here also you can set them. Okay, so let's run this program first and let's see how it shows the output to us. Okay, so our application is running now. So if I tap on start button, you can see this is horizontal progress bar. It is not indeterminate, it is determinate. 40% progress is done and 60% is remaining. Okay, you can change this progress from your code also. pb.set progress, if you execute it, it will execute and set your progress to your desired progress. Okay, so this is how progress bars are used. So let me repeat the point. Style is very crucial attribute here. If you use horizontal progress bar, you can use indeterminate also. You can use determinate also, no problem with that. Here if you use indeterminate, you can use progress and max button also. And if you want to use horizontal or non-horizontal, then you don't need to use other attributes. Okay, so in detail I will show you in some other videos whenever we are going to create a project or something like that. Into that we will go into the deep with the progress bar, or how this progress bar can be modified or shown using the code itself. We will go more into detail, but right now this is how the idea of progress bar works. Okay, so let's try to find other components in the next video.